Top 5 songs that creates the soundtrack to your life. Can we come up with the top 5 songs that brings you back to certain moments, certain eras, certain things that make you remember exactly what you was doing, and you can just go back in that mental space? What are 5 songs in the chat? Y'all let us know some songs that can describe like your life too. Let's see what y'all songs, see what
I
y'all
don't know.
soundtracks be like.
I don't know if I can come up with 5, but if we talking, all right, one song definitely. I gotta. This is not conceited or nothing, but I have to make sure that I say this. I wrote a song for my mom. I did a show when I was rapping, and I brought her on stage. We sat down, and I held her hand and performed that song for her on stage in front of people. So that song definitely, because that just embodies what she did and everything she done for me. That's kind of maybe the closest I got to a life story in music rapping, if you didn't want to piece everything together. So that would be number one. Number two would probably be Yolanda Adams. Another thing, anything from her really. Another thing combined with my mom, because when we was growing up, we was going through a lot, and we went through. We just went through a lot of some losses, and those songs kind of changed my mom and sent her to the church and stuff and all of that. And when I hear those songs, it just signifies a shift in my mom, which signified a shift in me growing up in my life when I was a kid, because she was raising us. So that would be song number two. Anything from her, because that's what she would bump. And when I was in the house and have to hear her going through how she was going through it. Three, um, I don't even know why. I don't even understand the significance of this one. This is just like super random. But when I hear this song, I can't tell you where I was, why I like it, or whatever. But it just reminds me of a good time, and it make me feel real good. Michael Jackson, Rock With You. I just really like that. Number 4, Jay-Z, Early This Morning. You heard me playing it.
Shocking.
You heard me playing that. That song signifies a point in my life, because when I was listening to that song, I was I'm 40 now. The timestamp is over it. I was selling back then. I guess, can I say that on YouTube? I think that's what I was worrying about.
D-Rugs.
D-Rugs. Yeah, I was selling D-Rugs, like rugs in the shape of the letter D. I was selling rugs in the shapes of the letter D around my neighborhood for a little while, maybe about 2 years, 2 summers, I like to call it. And when I was in high school, and I would listen to Jay-Z Early This Morning every day, thinking that this was the beginning of my come up story. I'm about to be the man off these 100 packs real quick. And this is just the start of it, because this is how he started. I wake up, hit my shoebox. I was scared to
put the bum in my side. Now I'm ready to ride.
I was scared to pull out. I didn't do no stones.
Can't locate my vows. I'm not freshly dressed,
but got a Colgate smile. That's right.
I don't know nothing about that, bro.
Put on the same clothes I had on last night. I got loads of capers to come up with this paper. I got money schemes that come to me in my dreams.
You know what's crazy though?
Like a veteran.
When I heard you playing that, what threw me off, because I know you're not even a whole fan. That's like you got to be like a real whole fan to know that song.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
you
low key.
actually playing that? I'm like, what you know about that? Like,
it's a low key. That's why I like listening to it,
Yeah.
because you play it, and then when people recognize it, you like, okay, you one of them too, because you have to know where to find that and what you even looking for. You had to have had experienced that moment in hip hop to even know that song and catch that song.
That's a fact.
Because that song is not everywhere.
Nope.
So Jay-Z Early This Morning is number 4. Number 5 would probably have to be something by Tupac. Maybe I Ain't Mad at You. Maybe almost anything off of All Eyes on Me. Because that was the album that came out when he had passed away. He just had posthumous birthday. Posthumous. I never figured out how to pronounce that word. That word to get me in a pronunciation bee. Because there ain't no pronunciation bees. The spelling bees, it's math bees. get me in a pronunciation bee. That's what'll get me. Posthumous, whatever. But he just celebrated a birthday, so rest in peace. Happy birthday to him. But it would have to be some of All Eyes on Me because that was the first artist that I cried over. The first artist that I heard, loved so much that when they passed, really affected my life. Like, where I had to talk to my mom about it. Like, affected my life. So it would have to be something off All Eyes on Me because I would listen to the album sometimes and enjoy it and cry at the same time. So those would probably be the ones.
That's a solid list, bro. Not even gonna lie to you. That's a very solid list. I think so I had wrote mine down because I'm like, what five? Now, of course, there's other songs. I'll give an honorable mention. The reason I didn't put this song in there because y'all wouldn't know this song. This would be something more personal, and it was just like you said in yours. It would be one of the songs we did, our Loyal Fam group with me, my boy Rich Poe and P, called a Cadillac Joint. Anytime I hear that song, it takes me back to when we was in our group because that was like one of our best joints. And even when I did that at the show last year, that song is 20 years old, bro, and people was still in the crowd rocking out.
Was that the one he came out and did with you? Was he there?
He was there, but he missed me do that one.
Oh, right. He was there, but he didn't go on stage. He didn't go on stage.
In the Cadillac with a glass of yak.
Yeah.
Like that still hits. It's 20 years old. Mm-hmm. That's probably one of the best songs I ever wrote.
I just remember seeing them there, but okay, my bad.
And I told him, he was like, you did the Cadillac joint, but that just all takes us, even Rich, that takes us back to that moment of trying to be rappers and having a good song and trying to have it. I go right back to that moment.
Yeah,
but that's an honorable mention. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all wouldn't know nothing about that song. Maybe one day I'll redo it or something. But I'm going to start from my younger age. And I was thinking. So the first song I think that would go in mine is This Little Light of Mine. That would have to be like in the beginning scene of when I was a little kid because R.I.P. to my grandma. I was a church boy, bro. Like I was in church all the time. The Sunday school, the Bible class. Like my grandmother was a church lady, so I was always in church. I was a very innocent kid early on. You know what I'm saying? And my grandma passed away, and then it was like a shift. Like after those years, I lost my grandma, and I had like a shift of anger, confused, things like that. And then I had a different part of my life that had happened around then. But that would be like probably the first song in my
trust me,
childhood.
I know that song.
And
I know that. I went to Catholic school, so
everybody know that. That's the classic. So then I think the second song, this might shock some of y'all, right? That would be in my thing. I had a family. I used to play in these basketball tournaments probably from the age of like 10 to like 14, 15. I used to be with like this white family in a lot of the summer. So I would go from my neighborhood and I'll go over here with them. The song that would have to be in there, because this is like my real family, would be Meredith Brooks. I'm a B-I-T-C-H. That would be in my it would have to be like we taking a road trip and that
never
song
heard
come
that
on.
song before.
You never heard that?
No. Only
never heard it, T to Goat?
No, never heard it.
Chat.
Only I'm a Sitch song that I know is
you definitely heard it.
My bad.
I'm
I
a
say that.
I'm
Only
a
I'm a It song.
I'm a child.
That's her.
I'm a singer,
I do know that song.
I do not feel. That's my joint,
Hey, that's
bro.
fire.
That's my joint. That song.
I was gonna say
play.
the only one I know is Missy Elliott.
Nah, this Meredith Brooks, bro. I used to play that. We used to play that song, and I was in this different environment, and it was kind of shaping me to be able to like mold my personality and still be me, like in my neighborhood, but still be me when I'm in this whole different element.
I definitely know what you mean.
That takes me back to them trips when I hear that song.
I've had white songs that's like, man, this opened up. I can like this, and it opened me up to a whole new music, but. You're right. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like this list.
In my number 3. Now you might have to be a Saginaw person to understand why this in my joint. Mystical, the man right here. You would have to give me some kind of scene with this song playing because it was a moment back home, bro. Everybody was playing this song. This and that. Here I go. Like like bro. I'm telling you, bro. You was hearing Mystical everywhere. Like. You want to be down with me? But you ought to be down with me, get from around me. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, you was hearing this everywhere. That takes me back to being, like, young, like, 9th grade, everywhere you go, all the, the boys out there who de-rugging it, playing it, the athletes playing it before the games is playing it, before, like, the big high school joints, it's like, bro, you heard Mystical everywhere, bro, and it takes me back to that point.
This just hit me. Do you think we like Mystical so much because he was the first not Midwest rapper to rap fast? Like the same way we love Bone? Like
I know what
was
you
close.
mean. But Mystical was dope though. He was yelling, but once you broke down what he was saying, like Mystical was fire, bro.
And he took a lot. My uncle put me on this a long time ago. He took a lot of what comedians will say and put it in rap.
Yeah, he was dope. All right, so number 4, and I mentioned this in the songs that I can't listen to, but it would have to be in there. Brian McKnight, Anytime. It would have to. So like my sad moment or like the moment of like heartbreak and stuff like that. Whenever I've like ended relationships and stuff like that, I go through this moment of like I gotta get my feelings out, and that song is one that always get me through that because a part of you always want to reach out, bro. Mm-hmm. No matter how mad they made you, no matter how hurt, a part of you always want to reach out. And then you have to pick yourself in the moments and say, no, they did me wrong. I'm not going to do it. But you still have the thought. And that song is like totally about that thought where like, I'm not doing it, but like, do I ever cross your mind anytime? You know what I'm saying? Do you ever stop and think of me? Like, the lyric to that is like, that song always put me there. So it would have to be a scene. Yeah, we're not doing that, bro. We're not going to go into this song, bro. What I'm saying is I would have to have a scene where something, made me feel that way. And that would be in the background, bro. Because
I just not avoid it. I shouldn't say avoid it. I shouldn't say avoid it. I didn't arrive at a place recently because an ex of mine may have been there possibly. But I don't even know if that was more so me or her, but I do feel you on that feeling. Like, I'm not going to do nothing, and I don't even want to do nothing, and ain't nothing there, and it might be more ego on my side, but I do want to know.
Yeah, you just a curiosity.
Anytime?
Actually talk
like,
to
maybe on a random, you just be, like, cooling. Like, maybe you just run across something, and, like, he put tomato on his burgers, and you be like, he never ate tomatoes on his burgers. Like, anytime? Like, you never think of me?
I actually spoke to an ex yesterday, and to my shock, it actually went all right. And it was an ex that I didn't know if it was gonna be all right. So like, and then they said like, yeah, it was times I thought of you. It was like, it's just a song that like I feel like people, it just relates to that feeling. And the last thing I'm gonna put on my list,
shout out to his first kids though. Shout out to that first set of
Cameron's
kids.
Oh Boy. Oh Boy is definitely gonna be in my soundtrack. When me, P, and Rich was running around, especially me and P, we was out here creating crazy young black men stories out here. That was a soundtrack. Oh Boy was like, even if I'm out now when that comes on, I go right back to being like 22, 23, whatever old we was, ripping and running, doing our thing. Like, I go right back to that moment. We might not even been 23 then. I think we just had fakes. But, like, we was, out here running around. And that
you remembering the fake
back.
ID age.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Because you got to tell them so many times. What year? How old are you then? 23.
I had memorized.
You don't think I practiced this mother? You don't think that I practiced this age? You don't think I pulled the calculator out? I got the Texas Instrument in the car.
Yeah. them was the days, though. But, like, yeah, I think those would be my 5. Those... If you might need to get more background information to what those things would signify, but like if I had 5 songs that you can make the soundtrack of my life, probably up to 30. It might be 5 different songs from 30 to 40 or something. But like up to 30, those would be the songs that get the soundtrack.
Nah, that's a fire list too, man. Oh Boy was definitely one of them. Soon as you said it, put me right on 63rd and I stayed on Loomis. What street was that from Loomis with the bus? Anyway, y'all know from Chicago. I want to say Loomis. Did Loomis Loomis probably had a bus. It was probably 63rd and Loomis, now that I'm thinking about it, but I used to take that from Inglewood. And right around that Inglewood High School on 63rd and Stewart, south side of Chicago, don't play me, right around then was when Cam came out. That was a
classic, Tim. That kind of take me back to a place, too. Not to cut you off.
And Cam, that Oh Boy track, I had that in the Walkman going crazy on the ride home. I remember waiting on the bus, listening to the Loomis bus, waiting on that till I got to my crib on 72nd. So yeah.
I think Oh Boy was one of the songs like that made me want to get fresh. Like I dressed all right, but I think just that era, that's when like I think even P started getting more like flamboyant with his stuff. Because we watching them and we just started being like, man, we can wear colors. Like we was getting stuff custom made. Like we just got into a different mode. Like Cam them was a big part of my life, bro. I was so hurt when Hell Rail was going through that situation, bro. That was hurting my heart. It's like I feel like my young 20s is a lie, Hell Rail. You cannot let nobody come in there and violate you. You the hardest out, bro. You Hell Rail, bro. You can't be going out like that, bro. It was painful.
Nah, Cam, that was the first track that came out that I liked so much that I was like, oh man. So I don't gotta be like Talib Kweli to make it and be like great lyrically. Cause I was still making, I was the computer's Putin still like he not, and then that old boy came out and I was like, wow. Yeah. But I did like Horse and Carriage though too.
Cam could rap. Cam switched his style to be what it became, and I liked that he switched it because now Cam had his own unique way that no matter what, Cam sounded like Cam. And like I love Cam.
Yeah, speaking of Cam sounded like Cam, you remember that feature he did with Outkast?
I don't even remember.
Yeah. Look it up, y'all. Cam did a feature with Outkast, and I think that's when...
It's the reason nobody never heard it.
I think that's when we first realized that, I think I just want Cam to be on Cam albums. Damn. But shout out to Cam. He rapped that was different. He was on some other stuff. Maybe he was just doing that. I don't know. Could have been, he probably didn't take it serious. Maybe he didn't rock with them like that. Because Cam can rap now.
We're not going to let you we're not going to end that segment with Cam slander.
It ain't going to be no Cam slander. That's why I didn't end it that way.
Cam also got crazy on tracks with the clips. And that's how we're going to end that one. Just so we can be like, Cam.
Maybe, you know what? I'm going to do my research. I'm throwing that in the rotation when I leave here. I'm going right to the YouTube
Chicken
music.
and fries.